Hey, what's up, guys? Dylan Johnson from Soccermag here, and welcome back to another episode. I'm joined once again by Junaid Hardenberg, and today we are doing a preview of match week 23 of the Premier League. Couple interesting talking points from last week. Some teams lost that shouldn't have lost. Massive twists in the title race, kind of. And this week we have some exciting games. I think they'll be pivotal in the race for top four. And first up, we have Bournemouth versus Nottingham Forest. And I think this game's going to be insane purely because Bournemouth absolutely destroyed Newcastle, and we did not see that coming.
Not what we
And
predicted.
Forest, obviously, we said now off camera, they've got the best form in the Premier League
Yeah.
at the moment now that Newcastle have lost. So I don't know which way this is going to go, but it's going to be a great game to watch, I think.
We predicted they were going to be really tough.
Yeah.
They kind of stumbled at the end there with conceding the two late goals. But I think that it's gonna be a tough one. I don't know if I'm going for a draw this week for them. But I think Forest edge it a tight one or
Yeah.
maybe.
I
don't know
agree.
what you see.
I agree because I think that if the game goes Forest's way, they're going to do what they did against Liverpool, I think, where they're just going to sit back and maybe because it's against Bournemouth, you'd think they'd be more aggressive, but I think their strength is, sitting back, waiting for the opportunity on the counter, getting Chris Wood into the game to bring, the other attackers, give them opportunities out wide. And I think Bournemouth will probably just go 100% at this. So I think I'm torn between like a high-scoring game or a 1-0, like you said, because it's Forest, like we said, they have the ability to just shut everything out. So it's a tough one. I think I might go for a 1-1.
1-1, okay.
But I think Forest are better than Bournemouth. It's more just which Bournemouth is going to turn up, because we've said before they are a great team this season in that they're taking points off the big sides and they're playing well when they need to play well.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to go for 1-1, but I
1-1.
think this will be an entertaining game.
Yeah, definitely.
After that, we have Brighton versus Everton, and Everton taking points off Spurs. Insanity. And Brighton demolishing Man United, which has become kind of a theme for Brighton and Man United.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what your thoughts are on that, but I think Brighton surely have to take this one.
Everton, I didn't expect them to take the win. They were really impressive.
Yeah.
Calvin Lewin was, he was looking on form. But I think Brighton, they edge it. Maybe a 2-0, maybe.
I think it's difficult to tell when teams beat Spurs because Spurs are so inconsistent and their defense is so poor. But in games, it doesn't feel like they play terribly. They just ship too many goals.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to tell where teams at when you play against Spurs. But I think Brighton are just too good for Everton. And I think even though David Moyes has steadied it slightly, I still think Brighton, on the form they're in with the players they have, they should beat Everton every day of the week. So I think also a 2-0, maybe a 2-1, but Brighton 100% will get this win, I think. After that, we have Liverpool versus Ipswich. And I think last week we both spoke and that the win against Brentford was huge. It had to be huge. It was going to be huge in the title race, and that's just giving Liverpool confidence to get over that little slump they had. And I think now Liverpool are kind of past it. I don't want to get too cocky before Ipswich because Ipswich can cause problems. Yeah. But I think Liverpool rested players against Lille. Players are coming back in. The players looked good against Lille. Mo Salah looked like that slump of form's gone. I think Diaz played well. Szoboszlai played well. The defenders that played well. So I think it's looking positive going to Ipswich, and I also think maybe a 2-0. I think Liverpool's defense is looking solid, more solid. So maybe a 2-1. A 2-0 Liverpool.
Okay. I think I agree, 2-0. I just wanted to ask you about the midfield. Do you think Elliott deserves a start? Yeah.
I thought he played really, really well when he came on against Lille. I thought, his goal, even though it was a deflection, he brings that intensity, that super sub impact.
Yeah.
I think against Ipswich, though, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, I think what they bring, I think Elliott's as good as a super sub. I don't think against 90 minutes I think he might get a bit bullied for 90 minutes because Ipswich are going to be physical. They're going to be unrelenting. So I think that doesn't really suit Harvey Elliott. I think it suits him better to come on, last 25, 30 minutes, bring that energy, get into that space that Thai defenders are, leaving behind.
Yeah, he was involved in both goals against Brentford when he came on.
Near the end, because I think he can take advantage of that space that's created there. And then also I think when teams feel like they can get something against Liverpool at the end, they sit deeper, which gives them more space. But I think Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, and McAllister are the strongest. I think it's the most well-rounded. I think the most physical, but also best passing, best engines. So I think that should start. And I think if Liverpool need Elliott, I think he'll come on for the last 15, 20, regardless of the scoreline. So.
And Slot plays Diaz up front again in the league.
I don't know. See, I think you have to play Darwin up front against Ipswich. I know he started in midweek, but he rested Cody Gakpo. I think surely this is the game where you want Darwin to play for most of the, he didn't really have a lot of chances against Lille, but I thought his link-up play was decent. But I just think if you want to show you have confidence in him, you can't be talking about how you want him to be this elite, consistent player and then not play him consistently. So I think he has to start. I think Diaz down the middle, I can see why he does it sometimes, but at Anfield...
he's been going with that regularly now in the league.
So I think he has to start Darwin. I don't know what your thoughts on that, if he's going to go Lucho down the middle or...
I think he'll go Lucho. I think he's trying to stay consistent with that up front. Gakpo, Diaz, Salah. I think he'll bring Nunes on second half. I think Nunes deserves the start, but I also don't want him also as a player to start and then have that inconsistency during the game and then it kills his confidence again. Then he has
it's like a double-edged sword. You need him to play minutes to get confident, but he plays too many minutes and he doesn't score and then he loses his confidence. It's crazy.
He loses confidence. So I think Slot will go again with Diaz up front. But I think Nunes should get the game time, and he deserves it as well.
So you also said 2-0, hey?
2-0,
Then, and if Liverpool win, they go 9 points clear with the game in hand, potentially if Arsenal lose. So that's a massive 3 points. Then Southampton versus Newcastle. Realistically, I know we said Newcastle should have, I think we said they should have won last week, but Bournemouth are a complete different beast to Southampton. Southampton are terrible. They already
there's
not
a reason
good.
why they're at the bottom.
Exactly. So, and I know Newcastle, they obviously slipped up against Bournemouth, but there's just no way I can see Southampton getting anything out of this.
No, I think Newcastle will come back strong.
I think maybe a 3-0, maybe a 3-1 if Southampton are good on the day and they score a goal, but nothing other than 2 or 3 goals ahead for Newcastle.
I think a 3-1 maybe Southampton. Just after like what I saw against when Southampton came back against Forest, those 2 goals at the end. I think they have a goal in them. And I think they'll score maybe 1 goal against Newcastle, but a 3-1.
But the defense is just so poor, and they just don't have the staying power in games. So I think they only have 6 or 7 points for a reason. It's been over 20 games. They are just unfortunately not cut out for it. Then we have Wolves versus Arsenal, and this, in my opinion, has the potential to be a massive game because Wolves throughout the season, they haven't gotten results they should, but I don't think they've been difficult to play against, especially for some of the bigger teams. And Arsenal right now, I don't think their confidence is at the highest level. I think they're getting 20 plus shots at goal a game, but they're struggling to score. When they do score, also they're struggling to have that strong defense that they've been known to have.
They can't maintain that lead, so they'll get a 2-0 lead and then...
Exactly, and I think against Villa, Arsenal were very good for a lot of that game. But as soon as Villa, got back into it, it was like, we don't know what to do now. More of the same, but then it wasn't working. And I think Villa were more than happy to just sit back, let the crosses come in, let Arsenal attack from wide and just cross it in. So I think Wolves aren't as good defensively as Villa, obviously, but I think they can hurt Arsenal on the counter-attack. I think they've got some great attacking players. So this has the potential for Arsenal to slip up. I think they might take this 2-1, but away from home against Wolves, I wouldn't be surprised if they drop points here.
I want an Arsenal draw. Actually.
I want Arsenal to drop all the points possible.
I think they'll drop points. I'm thinking a 1-1 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
It depends also because Saliba has been injured.
Yeah.
If he's out, that's massive. Arsenal are not the same without him, and no Saka, no Saliba.
Yeah, it's almost like
Damn.
if Arsenal has injuries, it's like they have a reason to lose or to drop points.
Yeah, the drop
it's like an
between
excuse,
the next players.
basically.
Yeah. No,
It's like they're looking for the excuse. They're like, oh, Saliba's not playing.
we're gonna drop points.
Yeah, we're gonna drop points. It's fine. It's fine. We have an excuse. So I think they're going to drop points. I think the confidence is not there.
Yeah.
So it's like they're challenging, or they say they're challenging for the title, but we don't see that drive and that urgency to actually want it.
I think also some of the choices that Arteta has made, I mean, against Villa, he has someone like Kyrgios who's actually a centre back.
Yeah.
But he'd rather play Timber at centre back and Partey at right back than Timber at right back and Kyrgios at centre back. And people will say that Kyrgios is a left-sided centre back or Timber is like whatever. It's like, surely you'd rather have a defender in a defensive position than, no offense to Thomas Partey, he's not the most mobile guy. He's like, 32, 33, defensive midfielder. And I think for the goal, I think it was the second goal, was it Ollie Watkins' goal? The second goal, he was beaten.
In the back post, yeah.
Yeah, so would you not rather have a natural defender in a defensive position? And Timber could definitely play right back.
Yeah.
Kvyat could play centre back. And they're professional footballers. If you're a left-sided centre back, I'm sure they're fine to play right-sided centre back. It's like, it's different, but it's not that different, surely. As opposed to a defensive midfielder playing right back.
Right back, yeah.
So I think also that passes down that Arteta clearly doesn't have confidence in his players. I mean, Saliba's injured. You'd want your centre back, the replacement centre back, to be playing, but he doesn't back him. So that obviously doesn't help in the squad
excuses.
either. Yeah, excuses. Prepping the excuses before kickoff.
Yeah.
The ball's tough today. The wind's coming out.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so
I think a 1-1.
a 1-1 I think's good. I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal
2-1.
just to
Okay.
please the viewers, get some diversity in there.
Okay,
But
okay.
I could see Arsenal dropping points 100% this weekend. Then after that, I think the biggest game of the weekend, Man City versus Chelsea. And I think this is a tough one because City kind of have uplifted their form a bit.
Yeah.
But realistically, their opponents have not been great.
Yeah,
It was-
exactly. It's like the last game they said they're back or something.
I think it was 8-0 against Salford and 6-0 on the
6-0,
weekend. But it's
yeah.
like,
Who
guys.
are they
like,
playing against?
Yeah, exactly. So, and Chelsea, they got a good win against Wolves, but again, kind of made harder work of it. Because I think it goes back to the point that Wolves are not easy to beat. This is a tough one. I don't know. I don't think I could see a draw, maybe a 2-2 draw here, or even
Could
maybe
be.
a Chelsea win.
I'm seeing a Chelsea. win.
Yeah, I think that Chelsea have, Man City, we know, are extremely vulnerable on the counter-attack. And they'll probably have a decent amount of possession against Chelsea, but all it takes is one Cole Palmer pass to Nicholas Jackson or Neto or whoever plays out wide, Madueke. And then I think Man City will be exposed. So I could see a 2-2 or maybe a 2-1 Chelsea here.
Yeah, I'm going with 2-1 Chelsea.
Okay. And I think, City, even though they've been scoring lots of goals, they haven't been playing difficult opposition.
Yeah.
But in a game like this, they will be so vulnerable. So
Let's see how they
let's see what happens. If they beat Chelsea, I would say okay. They're making signings now that they haven't, even though they haven't played yet. But it's like they're making signings. It's looking positive. Haaland's just signed a new contract.
10-year contract.
Which is crazy. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. He's going to be playing there till he's like 35, 34. But if they win this game, it'll be okay. Maybe back of your head, look behind your shoulder. You're like, City are starting to climb up a little bit.
I think they're like fourth or something now.
Because I think they also, if we look at the table, they're not far off Arsenal at all. They're 6 points off Arsenal, but Arsenal drop points this weekend. City win, they're back in it.
Yeah.
Then on Sunday, we have Palace versus Brentford, and Palace have also seemed to have slightly recovered, but Brentford are a good team. I'm gonna say like maybe a 1-1 draw here. I'm not sure what your thoughts are on this.
1-1 draw.
1-1 draw, Palace versus Brentford. I don't know.
I think I see a high scoring game. Maybe
high
like
scoring.
a 2-2 draw.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think Brentford was really good.
They're really good. Their attackers are really good, and I think their way they break is really good. Like their transition is really quick and effective. I'm not sure. I think their record away from home isn't too great, but also Palace. I feel like you never know what you're gonna get actually with Palace. So I guess we'll see. I think a draw though is most likely. That's what I'm going for. Then we have Spurs versus Leicester. And Spurs have the third worst form in the Premier League. The only two below them are Leicester and Southampton, and the only thing splitting that is 1 point, 1 draw. So this is really Spurs level. I'm joking. Spurs have to win this game. There's no way that they can't win this game. Leicester, similar to Southampton, are just not that good. They've lost, I think, at least 5 in a row. I think Van Nistelrooy's lost like 7 or 8 in a row or something crazy like that in all competitions. Spurs, there's just no way. I think their players are too good. I know they concede goals, but I don't think Leicester score enough to really trouble Spurs. Spurs could concede 3 and I could see them scoring 5. Yeah. So I don't know what your thoughts are, but I can 3-1 Spurs or maybe 4-2 or something.
Yeah. So in the last round, I predicted a high-scoring Spurs win against Everton, and it
was a high-scoring Spurs loss.
Yeah, it didn't go that way. So my confidence in Spurs is like.
But I feel like for Spurs, the best time to bet on them is when you have no confidence in them at all.
Yeah. But what happens if Leicester get a win against Spurs?
I don't know, but Ange's in serious trouble then because I think they'll then, I don't know how far down the table they'll drop, but they're in 15th. They've lost 4 out of their last 5 in the Premier League. That would be, that would still be 4 out of their last 5, but that'd be 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Against Leicester would be crazy. If Everton win, I actually don't know, because I think we can agree. Like, I don't think Ange is a bad manager. I think he's a good manager. It's just the squad is suffering from injuries, but also the criticism you can give him is he is too stubborn. He's trying to play. It's almost like suicidal the way he's playing, because he's playing Archie Gray, who's like 18 or 19 years old. Then he's playing Dragishi and Azor, but then Jade Spence at left back, who's actually a right back. Then Pedro Porro is the only one out of his senior back line. I just don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to him, but if he loses against Leicester, I don't think he's going to get sacked, but I think people are going to be like, okay, what's happening now? Because there's
going to be some judging.
Yeah.
If he loses. But I think a Spurs win. I think maybe.
Like, surely they just, they have to.
They have to win. I think a 2-0 maybe.
It wouldn't make any sense.
You're going for I
said like 3-1 or 4-2.
4-2. Okay.
4-2. Let's say 4-2. That'll be exciting.
Okay.
Then second last game of the weekend, we have Aston Villa versus West Ham. I think this will be pretty straightforward for Aston Villa. West Ham haven't been consistent this season. They don't score enough goals. They concede too many goals. So Aston Villa, maybe a 2-0 at home. I think they'll be confident. I know they lost to Monaco in the Champions League this week, but really, that doesn't really matter. I think their spot in the qualifications is kind of already secured. 2-0 Villa.
Yeah, totally agree.
Build on the Arsenal confidence. Go from there. Then we have Fulham versus Man United to end it off. And the circus at Man United continues. There's just a different ringleader this time.
Yeah. It's exactly what you said last week.
If they lose,
it's going to be like the ship is...
Yeah, the ship is sinking. But that's just how Man United fans are. If they beat Fulham, like, say, 3-0, they'll be like, we back. Like, this is how it works.
Next week.
Every week, it's different. Every result, it's different. But, after what they got destroyed by Brighton, they got humiliated. But I think in their last 4 or 5 times, they've played Brighton at Old Trafford, or just in general, they've lost, like, pretty badly. So, not really too surprising on that front, I guess, but I think we just thought that United would be a bit more better defensively.
Yeah,
but Fulham, I think Fulham could hurt United here. I think they have, they're going to be confident going into this game after watching last week. They know United are vulnerable. I think mentally United are, just like the fans, the players, their confidence goes up super quickly, but then now I think, we said about the comments of Amorim saying this is the worst United team ever, breaking TVs and all these things. Like, it must be difficult to be a confident Man United player right now. Yeah. And going to Fulham, who are going to probably be ruthless and just try and, they're going to probably batter them. They're going to try to score as many goals as possible. It's not going to be get a goal and sit back. I think Fulham are going to be brutal this weekend. So I think I'm going to go for maybe a 2-1 Fulham. And another Man United weekend of entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
I kind of feel sorry for them, though. Like, imagine your manager tells you like this is the worst United team. It's like it does something to your confidence. And it's like, what are we playing for? Do they have anything to prove? What are they trying to prove? Are they trying to prove that they're good enough for the manager, or are they doing it for the fans, for the club, for the badge? What are they playing for? So Jamie Carragher said, I think in an interview or something, one of his shows, that I remember him saying that it's like adding fuel to the fire.
Yeah,
or
it's not
something
helping
like that.
anyone.
Yeah, it's not helping anyone.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think Fulham take this 2-0 maybe, and they're just going to be too strong for United, and it's just going to continue. Like I said last week, I want United to show some fight. I want them to challenge and take some points off other teams for us.
Yeah.
You know, so it's obviously not happening. I don't know. But
so like going to that point of like this is the worst team ever. A week ago he wasn't saying that.
Yeah.
Like they just knocked Arsenal out. They're just drawn to Liverpool. It's like after one disappointing defeat, all of the momentum he had built, all the positivity he had built, just thrown away because those were two good results. United played well against Liverpool.
Yeah.
And United did well with 10 men for like an hour against Arsenal. Why do you throw all that positive momentum away by just saying this is the worst team ever because they lost to Brighton, who realistically are better than United at this point in time? They are a better team.
I think it just makes it worse if they're losing at home.
And I think maybe you could say to defend the manager that he's testing them. Who responds? Like, who's going to say, like, I'm not the worst player that Man United's ever had. I'm going to play well from now on. But it's like, I'm sure they would have done that already if they could have.
It's like some kind of reverse psychology kind of a thing.
But it's like reverse psychology isn't working because if they could have done that, their form would have been better already. So, yeah, it's like, I can imagine, like, I don't know how do you have confidence in the manager if he has zero confidence in you and then he's throwing you under the bus? And it's like, I don't know, unless a lot of these players get sold, it's like the manager's not going to have a lot of confidence. People aren't going to have confidence in the manager. And if he's getting openly frustrated like this after such a short amount of time, it's like you went in here knowing what the job was.
Yeah, but he's been saying that since the beginning about the team. He has been speaking about how difficult the team, like how difficult of a job it's going to be for him when he came in.
Yeah.
It's like he has been negative this whole time. There hasn't been anything positive that I've heard from him.
So, I don't know. It's like I get that, but then surely the ownership are probably like, dude, by you telling everyone that these players suck, no one's going to want to buy them. It's like we've just had to loan out Anthony because no one wants him. Like, I don't know how they're going to sell most of the players because no one's going to want to buy Anthony as an example. Like, no one wants to buy him because United probably, they're like, we need to sell him for 70 mil to make any money back. I don't know.
Yeah, there's lots of also on his way out.
Rashford, but also it's like the players, they're all on such high wages. Like Rashford, they're struggling to get him out because no one's going to pay
his wages,
over £300,000 a week for, all due respect, an extremely inconsistent player like Marcus Rashford, who on his day can be good, but then for 20 games can be absolute trash.
Yeah.
So they're in an interesting predicament, and I don't think, it's going to be solved anytime soon. And I think even next season will be difficult for them to be back. And when I say back, I'm saying even top 4. So, yeah, it's an interesting scenario then. But 2-1 Fulham from me, and
I say 2-1.
2-1 Fulham.
No, 2-0.
2-0, okay.
Yeah, no goals.
Thanks for watching, guys. That has been Soccermag's Game Week 23 preview for the Premier League. As usual, tell us if we're stupid. Tell us if you disagree. Are Man City back? Do United suck? Will Ange get sacked if they lose to Leicester? And can Arsenal cut down the deficit in the title race? Thanks, Sinead, and thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.